I named this talk Digging Through the Isms of Fitness, and an ism is a distinctive practice, system, or philosophy, typically a political ideology or an artistic movement. And so when I say isms, like what usually comes to mind? Like when we think of an ism, like religion, right? Racism, sexism, right? So those are some of the big isms that we deal with. So all our identity categories are shaped by belief systems, right? And what it means to live in the world as a race, class, gendered, etc. subject. And all these isms play into the way that we think about, approach, and engage in fitness. So we'll be getting a little theoretical in this talk, but it's okay because everything that we do is grounded in some kind of theory, right? Some kind of explanation about the world, even though we might not be completely aware of it. And so hopefully through these isms we can identify, right, those theories that our ideas are grounded in. So the first big ism that I want to introduce to you, let me go here, is healthism. Right, so healthism is, I want to introduce you to this one first because it's an umbrella term that I think helps us best understand how we tend to approach health in general, right? Whether it's physical health, mental, spiritual, or even financial health. So political economist Robert Crawford coined the term healthism to theorize how we think about health in relation to personal responsibility and morality, and that's really key there. In his work, he explains that healthism situates the problem of health and disease at the level of the individual and he associates the lack of health with moral laxity. Not so much him, but this is, through that theoretical lens, this is how we associate health, right, with this idea of what's moral. So in other words, within healthism, we see the health of an individual as a direct reflection of that individual. And if they're not healthy, the theory maintains that it's the result of the person's own moral failing to maintain their health. So healthism sustains the idea that our health is a direct reflection of how much we value being healthy and of our commitment to maintaining health, right, of our investment in health. So considering that so much of our health is out of our hands and out of our control, and is subject to these life experiences and environments that shape our well-being, you can see how healthism can be problematic. Another concept that nicely merges healthism and feminism is body panic. So panic is a feeling that some of us may have experienced, or maybe we're experiencing right now. So when those numbers on the scale aren't, right, not so much me, but not at this moment. But maybe when those numbers on the scales aren't moving, right? Or maybe when, we're not getting the gains that we want and the time that we want. Or maybe when the newest and best and shiniest thing comes out, but it's really expensive, but we think that we need it because it's the best thing for our health, and we can't get it, then we might start to feel some anxiety around that, right? Some panic. And so we experience this feeling of panic, body panic, in different ways. So feminist scholars Sherry Dworkin and Faye-Linda Walks describe panic as individualized feelings about the body produced through multiple processes of meaning making that simultaneously displace critiques of social structure onto individual body failures, while stigmatizing those who fail to participate and succeed in the existing system. So what this means is that instead of critiquing the social conditions that create the circumstances for our supposed fitness failures, we shift those feelings onto ourselves, right? Instead, place the blame on what we perceive to be our own failures to embody those ideals. And when we do that, we perpetuate a culture that does the same thing to others, right? A culture that looks upon inabilities to live up to certain ideals of health and fitness as personal failures, and that refuses to look critically at the conditions that make us supposedly fail. Right? So these same scholars further explain that the anxieties of body panic marshal resources to a morally valued but socially depoliticized project, the endless quest for bodily perfection. right? And so when we think about what those resources could involve, we're talking about the myriad supplements, right, that are sold to us through the supplement industrial complex, right? We're talking about the fitness gadgets, right, which I'm wearing one here, right, because I track my steps. I like it. We're talking about meal programs, right, the many meal programs that are out there, smartphone apps, online support groups, office weight loss competitions, and many, many more, right, that the commercial fitness industry has continuously improved upon, made more convenient, made more expensive, made more desirable, right? So it's a very dizzying industry, and I feel panicked myself just thinking about it, right, and thinking about how I continue to participate in this as well.